Even before the earthquake, Haiti was struggling. It's the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere where some people still live in mud huts without any running water. Primitive is one word to describe the overall conditions for many, but still these people have hope. Lots of it. And it was evident as we headed to a church service there 3 weeks after the quake. From a personal perspective, this Village of Hope church service on Sunday morning had to be one of the most powerful and moving situations that we'd been in since we've been here in Haiti. We came here to this church not knowing exactly what we were going to see, and the kids that we saw here today were absolutely inspiring considering what they've been through, the devastation they've seen, and the distances they come to this church, and one of the first things they did was welcome John and I. It was a moment I'll never forget. Looking at those children happy and singing, many of whom had walked miles to be here, singing such a warm welcome to a couple of journalists here to tell their story. Church at the Village of Hope starts when the bell rings. On cue, the children leave the playground and, dressed in their Sunday best, with their hair done and their shoes shined, they take their seats in the pews.
You save us in this moment.
Jarrell is a talented and friendly pastor who leads the 40 or so children of various ages in song and prayer. He taught himself how to play the accordion and incorporates it into much of the service. The views from the open-air church are spectacular. All around you can see mountains, blue sky, and fields. And combined with the sound of songs being sung by children so full of hope rising into the air, there was a truly special feeling about the place. The service takes place under the watchful eye of Debbie Berquist. She's the acting director of Lazarus Project Haiti, and this is one of the project's gems. Berquist moved to Haiti from Hamilton in 1989. As a nurse, she wanted to put her skills to use in another country. And despite a brief stint in Africa, she's been in Haiti ever since.
We were just so lucky.
At Hope House, Berquist shows me the damage they sustained after the quake. The security walls, which mark the perimeter of the property, almost all fell down. Parts have been rebuilt, but there are still a lot of bricks to go up. The roof above the workshop near the back of the main building also buckled and is almost down. She's thankful, though, that the damages weren't more serious, because when her office floor started shaking, she was scared.
Trying to remember scrambling out of my chair and trying to get out, but couldn't because there was so much shaking and I kept falling down, and then things were falling all over. The bookshelves were falling over and stuff falling from the ceiling. And I just remember needing to get outside to see how the mission team was.
Her office still shows signs of quake damage, but she's been dealing with so much of the day-to-day work at the mission since January 12th that the office will have to wait.
I guess the one word I could say is busy, busy, busy.
As someone who's still in touch with a lot of people from her hometown, Berquist is well aware of the generosity and caring people from Canada and Hamilton are showing. In fact, when it came up during our interview, she was moved to tears. What does that support and concern mean to you, and the generosity that Canadians have shown?
I'm very proud to be Canadian, and very proud in particular to come from Hamilton. That support means so much, and to know our area is supporting so many good works in Haiti, and people are seeing the positive side of Haiti and hearing the good things about Haitian people in Haiti.
You just have to look at what they're dealing with in the earthquake's aftermath to see why she's so proud. One of the orphanages supported by Lazarus Project is now a pile of rubble.
And that thing started running, so I'm sitting down and say, what's happening?
Marie Major is the 73-year-old woman who started and runs Grace Orphanage. When we meet, she's surprisingly upbeat, despite her loss.
Yeah, so you see my lust over there?
Yeah, we were over
the orphanage and the church, both.
Yes.
Blue.
Yep. And now that it's in ruins, all of the children are staying at her house, but no one sleeps inside. Even Major sleeps beneath this web of green mosquito nets on a second-floor walkway. They're making do right now, but they're still lacking so much.
And before the earthquake the need was so great already. And now the earthquake is like, you know, take one step forward, and now we've taken 10 giant steps backwards.
Our driver Jean agrees. He's never left Haiti and has never seen it like this.
It's like life, you know, life has stopped, you know, in this country.
Having grown up in poverty and working his way out of it to provide his son and family a better life, Dimanche knows exactly what kind of a shock this has been to the psyche of his fellow Haitians.
We know that the days ahead are not going to be easy for us, but with the support and the help of the international community, we would probably be able, you know, to go forward, you know, and have it and see things different, you know.
Evidence of help from the international community isn't hard to find in Port-au-Prince. As we drove along the bumpy, debris-filled streets, we passed UN convoys and other individual NGOs offering help and support. World Vision is one of the more visible groups of aid workers we saw.
We try to serve the neediest of the needy first.
At this displaced persons camp called Park Accra, World Vision is focusing on food and health.
So World Vision has been doing food distributions, non-food items, and we're also starting to set up things like mobile clinics, which you can see in the background here. Now, what a mobile clinic is, it's essentially a first aid and more than a first aid place that people can come and receive basic medical assistance.
The priority is women and children, and inside the tent, a pair of nurses work throughout the day, taking care of the families who need help. The lineup this day is mostly mothers and young children. But the kids can't help but be kids, smiling and fidgeting, not grasping the odds they're facing. But their parents' faces show the stress and toll this earthquake has left in its wake. In Nazan, this community school is one of many buildings reduced to rubble. But members of the community are working together on clearing it out. Piles of desks where students once sat now sit next to piles of concrete and other collapsed buildings. Tents line the street as residents share the fear of sleeping indoors. World Vision's daily food distribution has just finished, and while the aim is to feed the needy, providing more than 1,700 families with a 2.5 kilogram bag of rice each day, it also achieves another goal.
Much of what has been done is that since the food has gone into the community, prices we see prices going down from 500 Haitian money now to about 200, which we think is working well.
Like the rest of the NGOs, World Vision doesn't want to be in the food distribution business in Haiti for too long, but they know they've got their work cut out for them as they try to help the Haitians get back on their feet.